Welcome to Moments with Marianne. I'm so delighted we're spending this time here today. We have a very inspiring show coming right up with special guest, Brad Meltzer. And he's here to share with us his two new children's books, A New Day and I Am Frida Kahlo. Now, Brad is one of my favorite people, and I know many of you know him. He is the #1 New York Times best-selling author of The Escape Artist and many other best-selling thrillers, as well as the series Ordinary People Change the World. He's also the host of the History Channel TV show Brad Meltzer's Decoded and Brad Meltzer's Lost History, which he used to help find the missing 9/11 flag that the firefighters raised at Ground Zero. So let's welcome to the show, Brad Meltzer.
Good to be back.
What an honor it is to have you here and to talk about A New Day. And you've got this other great book. So I've got to ask you, what inspired A New Day? That's such a fabulous idea.
No, and I appreciate it. And everyone's like, oh, I've obviously come on to talk to you about writing thrillers, and we had Brad Meltzer's Decoded on the History Channel, and we talked about the kids' books, which I can tell you about the new one after, but I never had done a fictional, true kids' book. And Marianne, I can tell you, all writers, we always keep when you decide you want to be a writer, you kind of pretentiously put a notepad by all your next to your bed because, the moment might strike and genius may come and you want to make sure you capture it. And the truth is it never happens like that. You tend to write down gibberish. And the one thing that happened to me, though, for the first time in 20 years, is I dreamt this book. I literally dreamed it. And I woke up in the morning and I said, Sunday quits, just like that. And the other days of the week when Sunday quits, realized they have to hold tryouts for a new day. And my wife said, dummy, write that idea down. And my wife is smarter than I am, so that's exactly what I started doing.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you did because it is such a great story. And I think, even though I know this is written for children, I think it's for the children and all of us at all ages.
Well, and that's the goal. When the book starts and they start holding tryouts for a new day, the first ones are like, let's have fun day. And every day will be fun. And then they're like, nah. And they're like, let's have run day. And everyone will run really fast. They're like, nah. They're like, let's have bun day, where everyone wears buns like Princess Leia. And they're like, no, it'll get confused with the other kind of buns. And then the days get kookier and crazier. There's, the dogs want dog day and the cats want catter day. And then they start getting really crazy. There's like robots in gelatin day, and there's worst vice president's day, and there's shark day, what they decide that needs a full week. And it just gets amped up and loonier and loonier. And the kids, hopefully we're laughing and laughing. But what happens at the end is that a little girl comes with a potted plant to Sunday and says, here you go. And she says, what's this? Is it make a tree day, plant something day, rutabaga day? And she says, no, I just wanted to say thank you. I wanted you to have a nice day. And in that moment, Sunday is undone. And she just realizes, oh my gosh, she realizes the whole point of the book, which is that when you put some kindness out into the world, every day can be a new day. And that's what I really wanted this book to be, is something I could give my kids who, we know our kids are so anxious today, and we're all anxious today. Our leaders make us anxious. The virus, of course, makes us anxious. But to know that with a thank you out there and a little bit of kindness, you can change your entire day and have a new day.
Gosh, that's a message everyone can really hold on to, because we do need to add more kindness to our day. It seems like everyone's beyond stressed, kind of doing their own thing. And I just really love the message in this book.
Yeah, and full credit to Dan Santat, our amazing illustrator on the book. I mean, it's a kid's children's book, but it's only as good as that art's going to be. With any kid's book, you can't just, it's never just the words. It's me and this amazing artist. And what I love is it's easy for some, and I've said this before about Chris Eliopoulos, who works with us on the other books, but it's easy to do cute, and sometimes you can even do funny. But the hardest thing to do in a children's book is for an artist to do heart, to make you really feel and really move you. And I knew that was the most important thing for this book, that when Sunday finally is exhausted and meets this little girl and gets that lesson about putting kindness in the world, you had to feel it deep in your core. And if we can make you feel that, then my goodness, anything was possible. And Dan Santat just really just drew it so well and so beautifully, and it's so moving that the emotion comes right off the page. And I could tell it was good because my kids, I should tell you, are never impressed with anything I do, right? And nor should they be. No one should be impressed by their parents. Like my kids are, they don't want to ever say I did anything good. And I will tell you that this was the book. They were like, I like this book. And I was like, oh my goodness, what happened? What'd you do with my children? And I love the fact that my kids, hopefully other kids will respond in that same way.
You really hit a home run with this book, I'll tell you. If they're coming up and saying, hey, I really love this book, but you can tell because the artwork throughout it is just absolutely gorgeous. And it does convey that feeling. And, it has me thinking, when you started to write this book, was it something that just poured out of you, or did it take a little time?
No, I actually think when I wrote my second book ever, it was really hard for me to write. And so I basically was like, went to speak to another author of thrillers. And I just was telling him how hard it was. And I'll never forget, he sat and he said to me, if it was easy, Brad, everyone would do it. And I just never wanted to complain about being a writer because it just seems like such an easier job than like what my parents went through and what my whole family has gone through. We grew up with not a lot of money and it was a real struggle. So I never felt like I could complain about a job where I talked to imaginary people. But what I learned from him, and it was so freeing to hear that, is just to know, for me, writing has always been hard. It's never easy. It's always hard. This book, I will say, just kind of came out of me. As I said, I woke up from a dream. It was hard to obviously get the jokes. It was hard to nail the ending. There were plenty of hard things about it, but it was just one of those like fully formed, perfect kind of size for a child ideas. And those come along once in a lifetime. And I just was like, I'm not looking to gift horse in the mouth. I'm going to just start writing. And I literally just immediately was like, I'm going to start writing this thing.
Well, we're so glad you did. My goodness, what a great book. And, I understand also that you have a new hero book that you've written.
Yeah. So, you and I have spoken in the past about, I wanted to give my kids better heroes to look up to. And I wanted to give them heroes of generosity and kindness and character. That thing, character, is missing so much in the world today. And we started with a line of children's books, biography books, just for kids, illustrated by Chris Eliopoulos. There, we started with I Am Amelia Earhart and I Am Abraham Lincoln. We did I Am Rosa Parks and I Am Albert Einstein. My son loves sports. I Am Jackie Robinson for him. For my young creative son, we did I Am Jim Henson and I Am Walt Disney. And even for my daughter, I did I Am Jane Goodall because she loves our dog so much. And I said, if you love our dog, wait until you see what you can do with your love of animals. And I love the fact that, people have been building libraries with our kids' books with the Ordinary People Change the World series. And I think last we were speaking about I Am Anne Frank and I Am Benjamin Franklin, but we're finally at the 23rd book in the series, I Am Frida Kahlo. And Frida Kahlo is the newest in the series. Truth is, I didn't know much about Frida Kahlo. I knew she had a unibrow. I knew she was an artist. I knew that Salma Hayek played her in the movie. But I really, truthfully, didn't know that much. I was wondering why so many people were telling me, oh, you got to do Frida Kahlo. And then I looked into her life. She's a female painter who was celebrated at a time where people didn't celebrate female painters. And she has this horrible, she gets a case of polio when she's little. One leg becomes shorter than the other, so she walks like a peg leg. And kids call her peg leg and make fun of her. And after that, they make fun of how she looks. And she eventually gets into a horrible accident in a bus. And she's in a full body cast. I don't know if she's going to walk again or recover, which she does. And while she's in this full body cast, she says, give me a paintbrush. And she starts painting. And her favorite subject is her. They put a mirror over her bed so she can paint and see herself because she's lying there, not really moving much in bed. And this woman starts painting. And what I love about her is they make fun of where she's from. They make fun of what she wears. They make fun of how she walks. They make fun of everything. But she never lets it stop her. She is always unapologetically herself. And I think kids need that lesson today so badly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, you look at this, it's like we all need to hear that kind of lesson. So many people were a lot of times a little bit too involved in Instagram and what have you. So there's a lot of things that aren't really authentic. And I think that your book, Frida, that talks about Frida really brings kids to an authentic self.
And listen, I appreciate you saying that. That is the goal. I mean, one of the things we did at the end of the book is, people think these are history books, and they've never been history books. They're books that are really, truly about values. So on the back of I Am Amelia Earhart, it says, I know no bounds. On the back of I Am Abraham Lincoln, it says, I will speak my mind and speak for others. And when you get to the last pages of I Am Frida Kahlo, we put a little mirror, a plastic mirror in the back of the book. And Frida Kahlo, the cartoon character in the book, holds it up and says, what do you see? Because what I see is a work of art. And then it says, I am Frida Kahlo, and I know that the most beautiful thing is you, just as you are. And our kids need to hear that today. They're so obsessed with seeing themselves in Instagram that this mirror is not meant to be some kind of other way to have a selfie, but it's meant to show you. And it says, life is messy and it can be scary, but it could also be amazing. And it tells them the truth about it, not the fake online Facebook version, but the true amazing version of it. And I love the fact that we can give kids that lesson of self-love. That we can, it's so important to me to teach my daughter and to teach my sons to love yourself exactly who you are. Not because you're perfect, but because you're flawed. We're all flawed.
Yeah, we all have something that isn't picture perfect, and that's okay. That's what makes us unique.
100%. I mean, and that's the thing that kids don't realize. It's so hard. I actually think it's important to talk about it. My daughter, I think I was going to talk about this, but let's talk about it because we have the time. My daughter is 15 years old, and she started a movement online called Her Secret Identity. And the thing that's really interesting about it is she said that, women have secret identities, the things they hold back, and she wanted to help people reveal their true selves. So what she did is she started this Instagram account. It's literally called Her Secret Identity, her.secret.identity on Instagram. And I said to her, if you want people to reveal, she's like, people are going to come and they're going to reveal their secret identities and the parts they think people don't see. And I said, if you're going to ask people to do that, you got to do it yourself. And she's like, what? And I'm like, you got to do it yourself first. And she made a post, and it said, people think I have it all together, but my secret identity is that I struggle. And you know what it takes for a 15-year-old girl in today's world to go on Instagram in front of all of her friends and people in high school and say that she struggles? And my daughter did. And suddenly other people started posting theirs. And she got Billie Jean King, sent one in, which was wonderful. But what I love are the ones from people we don't even know. There's a woman in there who's autistic and said, people think I'm weird. My secret identity is I just like stuff that's different than other people. And yesterday one came from a woman who buried her son. And it said, people think I'm going to get over it, but I'm never going to get over the loss of my son. I'm always going to be a griever. And I just found so much power. So I encourage anyone listening, go to Instagram, go to her.secret.identity and submit your secret identity. You will see you are not alone. And I think that's really, I know it sounds crazy, but that's what I Am Frida Kahlo is about, is helping kids love themselves for exactly who they are.
What a change maker your daughter is to go ahead and to even think about that and put that forward. I mean, I really applaud her because she's really helping a lot of people kind of get to this place where they can start being okay with themselves.
And it's hard, it makes it sound like, oh, that's so easy and your daughter did so great and everything's so perfect. It's not. It's really hard. It was really hard for her to do that. I admire her more than she knows for her ability to do that. And I think, but I think if you don't have those hard things, I don't know how you get to the higher ground. I think the one thing we do with our kids on social media is they see these lives. There was a study done a few years ago, and it said that when we were growing up, the thing that we were taught is to always make sure that our parents taught us is that being smart was an important thing. You had to be smart. But what we're teaching our kids today, whether we like it or not, whether you think you are or not, with social media, is that it's important to be popular. not smart, but popular, that all the likes and all the thumbs up and all the followers teach kids that like being popular is what's important. And that's horrifying to me. And I think what we're giving kids is this kind of fake reality where we know no one's life is as good as it looks on Facebook. We know these things are hard. And I love the fact that what my daughter embraced, Frida Kahlo embraced, was that side of her that isn't beautiful all the time, but that is the beauty of it. It is beautiful, accept it as it is, not in some fake gauzy way with a great Instagram filter, but exactly as you are, unibrow and all. And there's a real power in that. And I think if you can take the same thing with a new day, if you can take your day, I tell my kids, happiness is a choice. And if you wait for the day to get better, then you're never going to be happy. Or if you wait for something to trigger you to be happy, that's not happiness. Happiness is just being able to exist regardless of whether it's going well or bad. And I don't have all the answers. I have my good days and bad days too. But I feel like a new day and I feel like Frida Kahlo kind of go hand in hand in what I'm struggling with at this moment in time, which is, how to give your kids the values that they need in this world today.
Well, especially since a lot of us are locked down, kids are at home, they're isolated, and they find themselves more online, I think, than ever. So being able to draw their attention to something that really matters and to develop those values, I mean, what an amazing thing that is.
Yeah, no, and it's been, it's been a gift for me that I didn't realize I was giving myself. I mean, I knew that I wanted to leave these books for my kids, but I feel like every book I wound up working on the things that I'm dealing with. And even though they're children's books for little kids, I mean, people buy them when their babies are born to build libraries for their kids and their grandkids, their nieces and their nephews. And they buy them for 4-year-olds and 7-year-olds and 9-year-olds and 12-year-olds. I mean, every age range needs these lessons. And obviously some books are, Amelia Earhart is more for on the younger side, and Harriet Tubman and Rosa Parks can be a little older, but they're all, you can read them all, and we get adults who just buy them for themselves. But I realize these are the stories I need in my life right now. This is the affirmation that I need in my life.
Yeah, it's a story. These stories we all need, without a doubt. My goodness, Brad, I mean, we can talk for hours. I absolutely adore your work. I think you're such an inspiration for so many people. Where can our listeners connect with you and learn more about these books and be part of your community?
You can go to bradmeltzer.com and you can always see all the books there. And we put pictures and you'll see the art and you'll see all the sneak peeks of them. And sign up and we'll tell you first who the next heroes are and what's coming next. But you can go on Amazon, support your local bookstore, support Barnes & Noble. Every bookstore in the country right now needs help. And if you're thinking you have a grandkid or a niece or a nephew out there or someone who is having a birthday, or I love the fact that people took our Anne Frank book and they were buying them and all the books, and giving them to their classrooms, to their teachers, to their synagogues, to their churches, donating them to, hospitals and other places. I just think that that's beautiful. And so if there's someone in the world who needs some inspiration, give them Frida Kahlo, give them a new day and let them have a better day for it.
Yes, I know I've picked up a couple and donated to the local library. And I think however you can get it out, it's perfect. My goodness, Brad, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Always. And thanks for supporting me in every medium. It really means more than you know. And thank you for supporting the Mulit sisters as well.
Well, thank you, Brad. It is always such an honor to spend time with you and to talk about your newest children books. I am Frida Kahlo and A New Day. Again, if you'd like to connect with Brad, you can at bradmeltzer.com for more information. His books are available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all indie retailers. And if you don't see it on the shelf, ask for them to order it. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in. You're listening to Moments with Marianne. And remember, make every moment count.
In a a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Moments with Marianne airs every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.